We're just days away from The Mandalorian Season 2. Let's give you a preview of everything to expect for this first episode. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button and let's get right into this. The most pertinent piece of news, the thing that we've got to talk about, is that there's really nothing to talk about leading up to it because all the journalists aren't getting screeners for The Mandalorian. That's right. I saw this pop up on Peter Scaretta's Twitter, and he was talking about how there's no screeners going out for The Mandalorian, so everybody's going to watch the first episode together for the first time at the same time. Now, that in and of itself can be taken a number of different ways. I think we're all pretty sure that this is due to spoilers. They just don't want spoilers out there. They know everybody's going to watch Mando. They don't need the reviewers to tell people that Mando is going to be cool. It's all gravy, right? So that is one thing. The other side of this, though, and there is continuing this sort of group of rumors, you know, kind of connected to the Pedro Pascal story, that maybe things aren't great behind the scenes at Lucasfilm and on the set of The Mandalorian. Is it possible that The Mandalorian first episode is not that great? Is it possible that the season's not that great and that they are not giving out screeners because they don't want that news to be out there? That is certainly possible, although I think many just think this is more to do with the spoilers than the fact that the content might not be up to snuff. Now, I want to throw a couple other, like, more or less hard and fast facts at you about The Mandalorian first episode, and then I will speculate about that as well, okay? So we'll get into some juicy speculation, but a couple of other things. It is heavily rumored that the first episode of The Mandalorian will actually be 50 minutes in length. And it's actually 52 minutes. And this comes from a Reddit post that had the leaked runtime of the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 2 called Chapter 9. And it indicated that it will be 52 minutes in length. Now let's stop there for a second. I do believe there will likely be a recap, much like there is on a lot of these episodes, but probably a pretty hearty recap of Season 1 at the beginning of this episode. So that will take some of the length off. And also, I don't necessarily expect many of the other episodes to be that length. I would be so happy if that was the case, and I think a lot of people are hoping that that is what this means, but there's no indicator of that. If anything, the pilot or the first episode in Season 2 will be long because it has to just cover up all these things and sort of set up the plot that we're going to be going on, and then the other episodes will likely be that 30 to 40 minute mark, which is still really decent, and especially if they can hang on that 40 side and give us like a lot more content, I'm all for it. Now, the next thing that's really important is, when is the show going to actually come out? Now, right now, somebody did get some word back about when it'll officially drop, and it is said to drop officially at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to take a moment here to remind you that if you're watching this video on Tuesday, tonight I am doing the Nerd Theory podcast with Star Wars Theory. It's going to be awesome. But then Thursday night at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a watch party. And I'll probably go over that with Theory and with everybody tonight about how we're going to organize that or whatever. But if you want to watch Mandalorian Episode 1 for the first time with me and Star Wars Theory and a bunch of awesome nerds, make sure you just stay tuned to our social media so that you don't miss that. But I did want to mention, too, it is actually possible that it comes out earlier than that, because what happened last year for the first season of The Mandalorian in the first episode was that it came out like super early on mobile and in certain foreign countries. So who knows? People will probably be on the lookout for that. Basically, Thursday night, keep an eye out, man. I mean, probably at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Possibly before it, but that is when it will officially come out for most people on Disney Plus. Now, this next part could be actually a little inaccurate, but I believe, I couldn't find it quickly online, but I believe that the first episode is going to be directed by Jon Favreau. Okay, it's definitely going to be written by Jon Favreau, but possibly directed by Favreau as well. Now, why is that significant? Because Jon didn't direct a single episode last season. He was like just building everything, pulling everything together, giving these other directors their voice, and just kind of being behind the scenes. But he is doing the first episode of Season 2, and I think that is just fantastic. And I actually want to jump into the speculation, because I think it's purposeful that Jon is doing the first episode, because I think, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this episode needs to be very lengthy and it needs to set a lot up. And my gut tells me that this is mostly to do with Moff Gideon. And what's interesting about this is we saw a great little promo from Giancarlo Esposito last night during Monday Night Football, where he was talking about the Dark Saber. I'm actually going to play you what he said here.
Lightsabers are the legendary weapon of the Jedi and Sith, both elegant and powerful. But one lightsaber is especially unique. Created by the first Mandalorian to be inducted into the Jedi Order, the Dark Saber featured an angular black blade and rectangular hilt. Seen as the symbol of Mandalorian leadership, many have wielded this legendary saber. Following the fall of the Empire, the Dark Saber is now in new hands. How did he acquire it? What are his plans for it? All I know is that this time, the Dark Saber is properly where it belongs. This is my tool. This is like my right arm. I'm so happy to have this.
Now that's some pretty cool stuff just on its own, but it also indicates that the week that The Mandalorian released, Monday Night Football on ABC, they wanted all the normies to be reminded of the Dark Saber, and they wanted all the normies to be reminded of Moff Gideon. I really, truly believe we're going to find out incredible stuff about Moff Gideon immediately. If you recall, there was the interview with Giancarlo Esposito in which he said you will learn more about Moff Gideon sooner rather than later. Could be an indicator that he knew it was coming in episode 1, and John would likely want to handle that part of the story and set that up properly. I mean, 50 minutes is almost, it's reaching feature-length film, time and area. So just very, very cool, but that's what I expect. I expect the first episode will set up the status quo of where Din Djarin is at, where the child is at, what is going on with Moff Gideon, and I think that's the biggest thing, is we will get a lot of information about Moff Gideon, his stance in the galaxy, his possible relationship to Emperor Palpatine, his possible past as Tar Vizsla's descendant and rightful ruler of Mandalore and owner of the Dark Saber. The possibilities are freaking endless. And now I want to sort of talk about the leaked titles for the episodes that came out much earlier this year. And we still don't know exactly if these are 100% real or not, but there's a lot of reasons to believe that these could actually be the real titles, as they leaked during a time period when a lot of other Star Wars stuff was leaking out there, and a lot of that other stuff has been proven to more or less be correct. And if we look here, the title for episode 1 was called The Search, and the title for the second one is called The Confrontation. And again, we don't know if those are true or not, but it just kind of adds more validity to what I was talking about. The Search. The search for what? For Baby Yoda, of course. That is what Moff Gideon is obsessed with. That's what he's after. And again, I think that it just makes sense that we would establish a lot of Moff Gideon at the beginning of the show, setting up his search, and then there being a confrontation in episode 2 makes a lot of sense. And so again, guys, the news is there's no press screenings going out for The Mandalorian. By the way, how did John Campea get to watch The Mandalorian season 2? Was he totally trolling and lying when he said that he had seen it before? But yeah, press isn't seeing it, so there's not going to be any spoilers leading up to that. It's going to be 52 minutes in length. The episode will drop at 3 a.m. Thursday night, and my personal speculation is a lot of Moff Gideon and status quo set up for Gideon searching for Din Djarin and the child. But that's the report of my speculation. I, of course, want to know what you think about this, so let me know in the comment section below. Now let's shout out Thorin Woods. Yes, indeed, Jake Lockley is the cab driver that is one of Moon Knight's split personalities. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, how many Dark Sabers did Giancarlo Esposito break on the set of The Mandalorian Season 2? He teased this in an interview. If you like this video, make sure you drop a like on it. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you thinking? You've got to stay subscribed so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy the content over here, you will absolutely love the live streams we do straight from Nerdvengers Tower, Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.